Well, hello and welcome to the Rim Junkie Show. Today's going to be a very, very special afternoon. I just know it because I have probably the most popular guest that I've ever invited, probably the most anticipated guest. So many people will send messages saying, when is Suzie coming on? Well, Suzie's here now. So Suzie is the one and only Suzie O'Neill. She's a makeup artist, a really renowned makeup artist, and she's the founder of AYU Cosmetics, which is probably, I think it's a wonderful successful Irish company, and it's a product that I absolutely love. I'm wearing all of her products today, not because this is not a paid ad, because I want to wear them. And I am delighted and honored, Suzie, that you're here today as our guest.
Thanks a million. I'm so delighted to be here. A little nervous, but it's okay. It'll be good.
Oh no, this is a very, very special, happy place. So I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of questions, and the questions should be coming up now. I'm a bit concerned that they're not, but maybe people are just getting settled in. If anybody's there, say hello, and then I know that you're here and I know everything's working properly. But Suzie actually told me a few minutes ago that she doesn't normally do live interviews, but for some reason she agreed to do mine, so I'm just thrilled to bits. Something weird is going on. Can't post comments. Oh, here we go. Mary McGinley, Karen Glass, brilliant. Suzie, I'm fascinated by your story because it all, Miriam Canana said, hi, looking forward to today. It sounds like it's a success, like an overnight success story, but I suspect there's been a lot of hard graft and work behind the scenes to get you to where you are now.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely not an overnight success story. But funny, friends of mine would actually have said that to me not so long ago, that, God, it just happened overnight, didn't it? And I was like, no. No, we've been in business about 7 years now. The cosmetics is only 3.5, 4 years. I think I must figure that out. It's about nearly 4 years in going now, the cosmetic end of it. But we were brushes first.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started I have been in the beauty industry for about 20 years, and I taught in a college. So I used to teach makeup and beauty. That's how I got into making the brushes, is because back then there wasn't the brands there is now, and everything was super expensive. But I'm a real stickler that your brushes make such a difference to your makeup and the application. So I wanted to be able to produce brushes that were really affordable, but really great quality. And so the students that I had, I went about trying to find different brands. And when I wasn't happy with anything, I went about then trying to find my own, to try and develop my own. So it was really brilliant to have them as a focus group to begin with, and then develop it from there, because when they started to use them, they noticed the difference, and then they start asking, could I get that from my mom or my sister? Mm-hmm. And I felt there was a bit of a gap then for a new brand to come and do that. And at the time I had just had my first child as well, Ollie, and life was just mental. So for me, I kind of just said, it's now or never. You know, I either go for it and I try it, or I don't, and I stay as I was. But I think at that time I was working 6 days a week in the college, and 3 of those days were 12-hour days. And I had gone back to work when he was 8 weeks old because they didn't get cover for me. So I knew I was meant for more. So I said, you know, I'm going to just try it and see where it brings me. So thankfully it's brought me here.
Life is like that. I think that's the best lesson that anybody could be given, is face the, I know that's a cliche, face the fear and do it anyway, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You'll make it up, you'll figure it out along the way. Now I know why you're such a natural in front of the camera, and why you're so relaxed and brilliant at showing everybody how to apply their makeup. I didn't realize that you were a lecturer before.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm so into educating people on how to use the products. And it's actually one of the reasons we're not in stores either, because I never really wanted someone to pick it up and go home not really knowing how to work it, or what it was for, or what the benefits were for. So I know when someone buys online from us, they've probably seen us somewhere, or seen a video, or somebody's told them, you know, about it. So I know then that they'll get the best use from it, because I always think that you could have a great product, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not so great then. So we try and really spend time on creating lots of content and lots of videos for people to learn, but also on our products, there'll always be a how to use as well, just to make it so it's not so intimidating. Because I used to find as well that makeup could be super intimidating. You know, like you'd see people doing it and you think, oh, I'd never be able to do that myself. But I wanted everyone to know, well, actually you can. It's not that difficult. And I'm you know, even though I'm super busy all the time, I'm a lazy busy person, because I don't want things that take an hour. I want something that's quick and efficient and get me out the door, you know, make me feel great. That's the main thing.
Oh, well, listen, I mean, I'm definitely a late convert. I've only heard about AU about 2 months ago, I think, and I got the concealer first, which every woman should have. I've been buying this for girlfriends, for my mother-in-law, and that's a concealer brush, and it's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. And I was telling you earlier, I've been wearing Elizabeth Arden Flawless Finish since I was a student nurse many moons ago, and only yesterday, where's my camera, this arrived. I'd ordered it on Friday. It's a perfect skin. I know there's a lighter one too, but for me, I like a little bit of coverage. But this goes on, gives me just as much coverage as the Flawless Finish, but it feels so much nicer. And yesterday I had a busy day. I put this on before my live, and then I was teaching a class at 7, a Zoom class, and I realized the makeup was still intact and perfect. So that didn't happen by accident.
Yeah. No, I definitely wanted something that was going to last. I mean, in normal times, we would do shows most weekends around the country. So I don't tend to stay over the night before, because I've got small kids, and I would tend to hit the road at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I know that it needs to be there all day. So for me, it was always wanting something that was really long lasting, but not drying, and that just looked great. Because again, I'm not someone who brings, even though I own a makeup company, I don't bring makeup in my handbag to top up, because I'm too lazy. I want to just put it on in the morning, and then that's it. I'll bring my lip gloss. I always have a bit of lip gloss with me, but everything else, it has to start in the day, and then I have to it has to do me. And actually the Fresh Skin Foundation, which is our lighter version, I did an ultra marathon there earlier this year, and so in the training I was doing a lot of long distance and marathons and whatnot, and I remember testing the sample one day, and I just so happened to have it on, and I went off for my 30k run or whatever it was that afternoon, and when I got back it was still pretty much perfect, and I was thinking, well, that definitely for me is a winner, you know, because it hadn't moved, and I wasn't going very fast. It was a slow run, but still. Okay. You know, it's those things that you're just like, oh, now I know there's something, you know. But with the concealer as well, it was just something that it was said to me for so long at all of our events. Women were just sick of under eye concealers that didn't have the coverage and were too dry. And once we have our fine lines around the eyes,
too thick as well, yeah.
Too thick, exactly. You want something hydrating. But I also think that powder then, if you set it, can actually ruin the look of the makeup. So I wanted something that was going to self-set. And it came about with my husband. I was at the kitchen table and I'd be mixing different formulas and whatnot. And it was during the really bad snow, and he was sitting across the table from me, and we have horses at home, so he works outdoors all the time. And I thought his skin looked a little bit more weathered than mine. I said, right, if it sits on him now, I know it'll sit on somebody who has crappy skin or that. So I put it on him, and he had got a call because there was frozen pipes in the yard. So he had to go over, and he forgot that the concealer was on him anyway. He went over to the yard, did the work, and then he came back. It was still perfect. It hadn't cracked or creased or anything. And again, that's when I thought, right, I definitely have the formula now that is going to work, and women will love it, and it'll have the coverage, but it won't be drying.
I'm going to try something. I have a freckle thing on my hand, and I'm going to, can you see that?
I think you need to.
The camera's weird. There it is.
There you go.
See it there? That's just a dab, and it's gone.
So that's it.
It's unbelievable.
You know, less is more. I love that you can get the coverage, but not have to have a full face sometimes as well, you know.
But that's your genius, Suzie. I think that's what attracted you to me in the first place, because your makeup is so natural. And I've been wearing makeup since I was, probably about 16. But I've learned so much from you, and I'm sure half the country, half the world has as well, because it's your emphasis is on natural and not having this mask. I mean, you probably haven't, but I've gone to get my makeup done, maybe before a wedding or something, and I've come home and scrubbed the whole lot off because it looked like a mask, and these big generic black eyes and black eyebrows, and awful, horrible. In fact,
I know, there's nothing worse than feeling like the makeup's wearing you. Like I always say, it's like an uncomfortable pair of shoes. You just can't wait to get it off. You know, yeah. I love to feel like my clients used to say to me, I feel like I'm wearing nothing. And I'd like, perfect. That's how I want it. You know, you don't want to feel, and actually a lot of people think that if you have a long day ahead that you need to put on more makeup to make it stay, where actually the opposite is true. If you use a little less and you apply it correctly, it'll last all day. But when you load it on, you tend to heat up underneath it, and it can start to produce oils, which will start then to let it slide. So it doesn't actually stay on. So it does the reverse of what you want it to do.
That's interesting. Yesterday, I noticed you only need a small bit of this as well. I had put loads out in my hand and tried. I had far too much. And you can build it up. Questions are coming in and comments. So I'm going to Nora O'Gara saying, love Suzie's products and video tips. Thank you. And lovely to see her on your live today, Anne. Can you ask Suzie, what's the best makeup lightning? Hang on. What's the best makeup lightning? Don't know what that means. If you have sensitive eyes but need to see what you're doing.
The lighting, is it?
Yes, that's what it is. What's the best makeup lighting? That's a good question. Yeah,
there's some lovely mirrors you can get now. The Glam Doll do lovely mirrors, and actually Amazon have these great ones. They're called Wayne Way, and they plug in, so you don't have to get them inbuilt or anything. They stick onto your mirror, and they mimic daylight. So they're really brilliant to give you a nice bright light if lighting is an issue. And actually, to be fair, I think everyone should have them if they do makeup in the mornings, because if you have a yellow light in a room, it doesn't show you what you're going to look like in the daylight. And that's often why then you could go out to the sun visor and you'd pull down the mirror and it's like, oh my God. So I think if you can get yourself some lighting that mimics daylight, you're on a winner. And they're only about, I think it's about between 15 and 20 euro for these lights, but they go all the way around your mirror and literally just stick them on and plug it in. And it's
what did you call it again? Wayne
Way, yeah.
Wayne Way. Okay, and I know from an interior design perspective, the Hollywood starlets had it right. It's the up and down light that's actually really, really important. Yeah. That's a very good question that I would not have thought of asking. Josephine Jeffrey saying, hi ladies, finally getting a chance to tune in live, busy bee at the moment. Marion Shovlin saying, love seeing Suzie. Well done, Anne. Now, I think there were questions up here, so I'm going to go up and see. Shirley Kennefic down in Limerick is saying, love the products, well done. Edna saying, yes, the brushes are fab, they make the difference. I agree with that. Jane Canning is saying hello to you both, really looking forward. Kavina saying hello. Hi Suzie, just want to say I use your products, absolutely love the concealer. I've used them all, but this is the best I've ever used. If you need concealer, don't buy anything else, it is fab. Mary McGinley, any tips for dark circles under the eyes? Well, I think we've just talked about that. So what color? I know Mary because she's a client and her skin tone she's usually quite tanned. What color would what color would be the best for her?
So if she's quite tanned, I would say probably medium tan 4, which some people can be afraid of because they think it's going to be too dark, but actually it's not. We have them that there's 4 shades at the moment. We have another new one coming in the summertime, but they're done in a way that shade 1, which is light 1, is a yellow based concealer. Shade 2 is a pink based. Shade 3 then is a yellow base again, and shade 4 is a pink based, or peach based, I should say. And so if you're more tanned, you're probably going to have more of a blue undertone to your skin, which means we're going to need peach or pink to brighten it and lighten it, where yellow is best for redness. And so I get very red around my eyes. That's why medium 3 for me works really well, because it's not blue so much that I'm battling, it's red. So I would say if she's tanned, go with the medium tan 4 and just build it slowly. So I always say to people, if you put too much on to begin with, it's really hard to blend it away. You're going to have to find somewhere for it. Whereas if you add it slowly, you'll get to know the product and then you'll know how much you need. But if the darkness is centered in here, just concentrate in here. You don't need it out in the outers, just in here, because it's in here where we pool a lot of our shadow anyway. And that's what we want to bring out and brighten up that area.
Well, she'll find that useful. Actually, for me, you suggested the medium 3 and the medium tan 4 foundation, because I thought that might have been too dark, but of course you're absolutely right. Another little trick that I picked up from you is not just to put the concealer under your eye, but to do the triangle. And that has worked for me and has really opened up my face. Yeah. I don't know what it does, but it's great.
It's amazing, really. That is one of the things that I think when people start to use under eye concealer, they notice such a difference then. Because if you think about it, if you wear your foundation all over your face is going to be really one-dimensional. It's going to be one color. They say kind of, technically that the most attractive face shape is oval. So this is why we always try and brighten the inner triangle or the inverted triangle. But also what you'll find is when you put a little bit of it, like I always say half a shade to at max a shade lighter for the concealer. But when you do put it underneath here, it lifts everything. So it's brightening under the eyes, but it's also giving you a bit of a facelift at the same time, which is great when we're tired or just feeling a bit you just want to give yourself a bit of lift. And I find even now, if I put a bit of tan on my face the next morning, I tend to only put tan kind of on the sides of my forehead, the cheeks, a little bit on my nose and my chin, but I would leave all here, because if I was to go all over, it just doesn't look, it looks like I'm too dark, because remember, the sun will hit you in certain points more than others. Right. So when it comes to makeup, it's the same thing. I always say it's a trickery of light and shade. So we always want to keep under here in this little triangle, just that bit brighter, so it lifts the face.
It's amazing. And I really have learned an awful lot. I've been binge watching your videos. Somebody else is saying, hello, Anne and Suzie, can you recommend which of your makeup would suit mature skin? Good question.
So, yeah, well, I mean, all of it. To be honest, we develop our products with 30 plus in mind. So for me, it was always the more mature skins that were forgotten about. And as we get older, we do need to use lighter products and lighter consistencies, because the skin gets drier naturally, and we lose that sort of, we lose collagen, so we lose that glow. So that's why with us, with me, I'm always trying to get with the radiance cream and with the concealers that it's got a real dewy but a real fresh finish. I think I wouldn't be afraid of any of the products if you're mature. Skincare is one that's such a big thing with me as well. I think you can have the best makeup in the world, but if the skin underneath isn't looked after, you're fighting an uphill battle, So I would definitely get the skincare in check. And if it is in check, then you could use anything that we have, basically. It's then down to preference of the finish. So with the perfect skin, it's a matte finish, and the fresh skin is more of a dewy, fresh finish.
I must try that one too, because I like the sound of that. You know what I love about this radiance cream? It's more pink than gold. It's not glittery at all. It's just natural. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's the thing. You see, it's got the pink pearl effect. And for me, I wanted it that it was almost like a slightly pinched cheek. But you've got the glow. So it's really natural and nice if you have no makeup on at all, just to give the skin a glow. Whereas sometimes when it's more of a champagne or a cream tone, if you're super pale, it can be kind of unnatural. Whereas that kind of pearl pink will work for pretty much everybody. So
I can remember, I think it was last summer, I was on the Elaine show, and one of the girls, I was speaking to a journalist who's on it regularly, and she said, whatever you do, don't use highlighter. And I thought, I don't use highlighter anyway, but this is a million times better than highlighter. Yeah. Because it's so much softer.
Well, that's it. And you see, I think sometimes with highlighters, especially powder ones, it's why I kind of refuse to do a powder highlighter, is because it can look almost like just a streak of light, rather than when it's a cream and it's a soft base, it is going to look like a glow more than, an obvious highlight. For me, I think it's always the thing of like, I don't want it to be obvious. You almost want people to think you rolled out of bed looking like this,
I wish, if only. Another question that came in early. Kate Blaney lives in the north, and lucky girl, she's not live because she's gone she had a hairdresser's appointment at 3:00. What we would do to get our hair cut and coloured.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's just shocking. But anyway, Kate says, when ordering online, Suzie, how do you ensure you get the right shade for your skin?
So we have beauty advisors that work with us. So I'm always available on Instagram for people to ask me questions, or Facebook. But we have 3 girls or 4 girls rather, I should say, that are here to answer the questions. So we prefer, if somebody's on the fence, like we can tell a lot by photographs in daylight, what they're wearing at present. But if we're on the fence at all, we'll ask them to email us. We have a beauty@ayu.ie email address where we do all our consultations. And if they prefer, we can do it by email, or we can do video consultations. We're at the moment setting up like a live chat and WhatsApp, so you can do video calls. And we are working on software at the moment, which is going to be ready soon, that basically now you're going to be able to put in any products that you use and shades, and it'll break it down step by step to exactly what we would recommend for you then in our range. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. And then we also have foundation samples. Now we're out of stock at the moment, but they're due in at the end of May. We got them in there last month, and they sold out within 4 minutes the first time, and then the second time was in a day. So it's something that's really, really popular, and we do want to definitely work on, so that I just think as well with foundation, for me, it's super important to make sure you have the right shade. So we don't just say to somebody, oh, get this. It's unless we're very sure that'll work for them. And if we're on the fence at all, we'll make sure we've questions we need to go through, and we try and see them in a natural daylight if possible, because, again, yellow light and somebody in their sitting room at nighttime isn't going to look the same as they will in daylight. So, it's something that we take our time advising people on.
Gosh, I wasn't expecting that answer. That's amazing. She also asked, do the foundations have sun protection factor, and if so, what level?
No, so we didn't, and that was on purpose. So for me, I think an SPF is an absolute must every single day for everybody. So I wear Neostrata Skin Enlighten SPF 35 daily. So it's not something I want people to ever rely on in their makeup. It also can change the consistency of the makeup, so it can compromise the actual formula itself. And I think some people can find that the higher the percentage of SPF, it can give sort of a flashback effect on the face. So that's when it's mixed with your makeup. So it was an on purpose thing, and it's good for some, it's not for others. But I kind of just feel so strongly that you need to have a separate SPF anyway, that I think the likes of a 15 or a 20 that's in a foundation, that's not what you're going to want. It's anything that's 30 plus is what you need. I
mean, I use a Roche-Posay 50 and I use it all the time, and I think nobody would have a problem putting that on first and then applying their makeup, and no one's just fully protected. Yeah.
And it's known as well, like, I mean, you mightn't wear your makeup every day, so you still need the SPF every day, whether it's sunny or not. You want to have it on every single day. Best anti-age you're going, SPF.
Okay. Felice McBride, love your brand, Suzie, and admire you as a businesswoman in these days. I can't wait to try your products. I'm a redhead. How do you know the best color for my fair skin?
So again, I would say if you want to get in touch with us on thebeauty@ayu.ie. Did I say that? Sorry, I was getting myself.
I can leave all these links here anyway when we're finished. I can do that afterwards.
I would say to get in touch with us, because it'd be better for us to see you rather than me because I mean, you might have fair skin and red hair, but it could be any different shade of fair skin, or like that red hair can be so many different shades as well, that we'd much rather see your face and then be able to advise from there.
Rita Kelly says, we'll try these products. Of course you will. But listen, you are the busiest person. And now I realize you're a runner as well, and you've got young kids. How many kids have you got?
I have 2.
And how old are they?
I suppose they're not babies anymore, but they're 8 and 9. So they're
lovely. Well, that's a nice age, actually. Boys or girls?
A boy and a girl. So Ollie's 9, Chloe's 8. Yeah.
That's what I was aiming for, but I ended up with 3 boys. but I wouldn't swap them at all. But Suzie, going back to the start, how did you get help to do this? How did you even go through the mechanics of finding out who's going to manufacture this product for you? How are you going to package it? How are you going to market it?
Gosh, I always wish I had a better answer than I do, but I don't. I literally started with Google, and I tested out brushes, like I said, in the college for a long time until I was happy with a manufacturer, which I'm really happy to say that I still work with that one of those factories now. But I tried lots of different ones, but there was a lot of mistakes made and a lot of learning curves along the way. So, I mean, the very first order that I got, I spent every last penny of the savings that I had to get it. And when it arrived, 1,000 of the brushes were faulty. And obviously at the time, it was all brand new to me. So I didn't know what sort of rights I had.
Faulty, yes, and you couldn't fix them, or you couldn't...
The heads came off. Yeah, the heads were off. So I was like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? And I thought, this is it now. I'm done before we even started. But I was really lucky that the factory were super nice, and they were able to turn around a new amount of the brushes and get them to me as quickly as possible. So it delayed me starting, but it meant I didn't have to go out with something that's faulty, because like that, and it's happened a couple of times since, where, say, like eyeliner brushes, for instance, our eyeliner brush took me months to get right. And I had 1 or 2 deliveries that it just wasn't, the shape wasn't exactly as I wanted it. And for me, it's a hard no. So it's like, it doesn't go out unless I will use it and I'll wear it myself. And so we've had times where we've had to send thousands of the product back and get them redone, and it's delayed things. But it was really trial and error. I mean, even down to the fact that when I got the first order in, I wasn't aware that you had to pay duties and things like that. And I was landed with a really big bill when I didn't have any money left. So I was borrowing money to pay this. And it was...
You were determined. You were not taking no for an answer, were you, girl?
I wasn't at that stage, because to be honest, I had left the job saying to myself, I'm going to have to go into this. It's all or nothing, because I can't grow it unless I have time to be there. And then at that stage, it was kind of like, it has to work because I have all this stock and I have to do something with it. And I suppose I had this want as well, because I had just had Ollie and I was working so much that I wasn't getting to see him or be at home for his bedtime or things like that. And I just said, I don't ever want to go back to somebody else's timetable. I want to be able to make my diary, which is something still I'm really feel strongly about at the moment, is that I drop the kids to school every morning. And I'm lucky that my husband, he changed his hours of work about 2 years ago to facilitate me being able to work more. But it still, because it's mine, I can go home early and I go and I ride out with them, and then I can work again in the evening, or, you know, I can do my diary as I please to an extent, which is, it makes all the hard work worthwhile when you can do that, you know. And it was something that I think, because of those first few weeks with Ollie being small and having no time, I thought, I can't do this forever, you know. And yet I wanted things for myself. So I knew I had to think of something, I had to do something. And I love makeup. Like, I mean, I say to people, once they start talking to me about makeup, there's no stopping me. And I end up bending the ear off people because I won't shut up. But, you know, it's nice. It's lovely to be able to work, and like you do, it's to work in an area that you absolutely adore, you know.
I talked about this yesterday. I had an amazing artist on here, Sheila O'Byrne. You should check out her art. I have a piece, but I had it here yesterday, but it's not meant to be here. But she did say that she's in her 70s now, and she paints 7 hours a day. Took up painting over lockdown. Her work is incredible. But she said that, I love what I do. I absolutely love it. It fires me. It gives me energy. And your passion comes through, and it comes through in the product, Suzie, as well. I mean, there's an excellence in the product, there's an excellence in the packaging. This is a premium product, and you should be so proud of yourself, because, you know, it's an Irish success story. It's amazing. And then you went, when you didn't have enough to do, you opened up your own fulfillment center. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we wanted to take the fulfillment for AU back in-house. So we had different fulfillment companies working for us. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's from the time you order online, it's the pick, pack and dispatch of the order. So somebody else had been doing that for me, and I'd worked with a few, but there was always a few little niggly things that got to me. And I just, you know, I'm really particular. So I like things done at a really high level all the time. And that wasn't happening. So I wanted to take it back in-house. And as we got the new place that we're in now, it's huge. And we thought, well, you know, why don't we make the space work? And why don't we have the ingredients here? Why can't we help other brands? Because I know the stress that I had gone through with different companies, from different pain points like the pricing and, you know, things like that. And I said, why couldn't we do that for other people? Like, once we have the structure there, we can just do it for other brands as well. And thankfully, it's just been crazy since. I know having a profile online obviously helps, but I think people know that I do have really high standards as well. So they know if they're coming to work with us, that it's going to be really good. And I always feel as well, because my face is out there, I kind of do have to put my money where my mouth is, that I can't just say something and not deliver on it. So we've been really lucky. And at the moment, actually, we're looking at a second premises, because we're kind of nearly outgrown the place we're in here at the minute. So yeah, there's a lot on.
I think online is the way. It's one thing that's going to come out of COVID. We've got I was never an online shopper, but I shop an awful lot online. But I'll tell you one thing: anything I've ordered from you has come very, very quickly. Very quickly, so that if you're doing that for yourselves, you know, you've obviously figured out exactly how to do it, to be able to do it for others as well. Question here, sorry, are your products available in the UK? Presumably they are.
So we deliver worldwide. Yeah.
Okay,
that's great. That was super important, and it's something probably that I do wreck the warehouse and staff's heads on sometimes. Is that like that? I'm an impatient shopper as well. So when I buy something, I want it now. So for me, everything that comes in, we try, and we have a cutoff at 4:00. So we try and get everything that comes in for that out the same day, and just get things moving, so that you're not having to wait ages on your delivery. And then we're, you know, as well, I think sometimes people used to be put off with online because of the returns, but now we've made the process much easier, so that it's a case of there's no pain point anymore. You can just, you know, we send the label, we organize it, and if something needs to be returned, it just makes the whole thing easier, so that you're not kind of like, oh, I couldn't be bothered, you know, to do that.
You're going to say something else there. One thing I'm dying to ask you about, fascinated, and I'm so sorry I didn't order this one. I forgot about it when I was putting the order in on Friday. Your mascara, because you've got two wands, and one is brown for underneath, which I think sounds, because I know I wear far too much black underneath, because I'm not able to do the, the black eyeliner or the dark eyeliner up top. Maybe your brush is what I need to do that. So any tips there?
Yeah, well, with the mascara, that's exactly why I developed it like that. There was nothing on the market that I could see that was similar to that. And when I, from years and years of doing makeup, I would always have used a black volumizing mascara on somebody's upper lashes, but I would always use a really deep brown defining one at the bottom, because obviously our bottom lashes are much shorter than the top. And I find with big brushes, it can be fiddly in the end, getting it on the skin and things like that. So it took over a year to develop that component and to make sure that the formulas worked in the two different components and on the brushes and whatnot. But it's been such a huge success for us, and people love it because of that. And what we find is a lot of people use the definer first on top as well, the deep brown, and then they go in with the volumizer after it. But because the brush is so thin and small on the definer, when you're coming to the underneath and the lower lashes, it just makes it so easy. Like you're not going to have the product all over the place, and it's water resistant as well. So I made it water resistant and not water proof, because waterproof mascara worn daily can damage the lashes. And so I wanted it water resistant, that you could be out in the rain, it's not going to smudge or go anywhere, or kind of you won't get any leakage down the eye or anything like that. So it does need an eye makeup remover to remove it, which is something people ask me about. But I always say to people, there's always method in the madness of what I do. Like there's, to have the two wands there, it's to try and make the job easier for women, and just to make them feel great and not feel they can't wear it because it's too difficult, So
actually, speaking about making life easier, I haven't used this yet, but I love the idea of it. It's for cleaning your brushes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Because as an ex-nurse, I'm very conscious of how dirty your brushes can get, and yet it's a pain in the neck to clean them. And I've bought lots of different products, but this literally does it with some washing up liquid. Am I right, or is it baby shampoo? I can't remember.
No, I use Fairy liquid. Yeah, I've used Fairy for 20 odd years now. I love it because, and it has to be real Fairy as well. This is something I always say to people. For whatever reason, the Little and Aldi brands, they don't do the same job as Fairy. But for me, Fairy, and especially the antibacterial one, they get it squeaky clean. It'll remove the toughest of makeup. And brush cleaning is something I am a real stickler on as well. I wash my own probably 2 or 3 times a week. But I would always say to people, if you can even get yourself to do it once a week, definitely once a fortnight, it'll add so many years onto your brushes, and it just keeps everything clean. Because again, I don't think we realize how much makeup and skin and everything goes onto the brush each time you use it. So you're kind of putting, some people say to me, but I like using the old foundation that's on the brush because it gives me extra coverage. But I'm like, yeah, but you're putting dead skin cells back onto the face as well. And, it's just, if you get into the habit of it, like I would always, we only have 9 brushes in our collection, and genuinely I have 9 brushes that sit in my little cup and my makeup table at home. So I have them washed in no time. And once you get into the habit of it, it's done so quickly, and you leave them dry overnight. They're fresh for the next morning then. And it just I love the freshness of a nice clean brush when I am putting my makeup on as well.
I agree. It's like getting into a bed when the sheets have just been changed. It's lovely. But that is super. Now you have a new product coming out. Can you tell us about that? Because I'm dying to find out about this one.
Yeah, so I was showing you there before. So we've a 3-step easy glow. It's Glow Easy is the set of what it's called, but it's a cool contour, a cream blush, and a cream highlight. And we have them in pink and peach. And I just think that they're fab. I won't do a big sales pitch on it now, but I just think that they're gorgeous. I love fresh skin. And I love that when the skin looks really, really healthy. So actually, I'll just show you the way they come. Because otherwise it'll be too hard for me to try and explain it. So you have your little wand, and each of the little wands have a little window in the back, excuse the bad nails, but so that you can keep an eye on how much product is left.
Very clever, isn't it?
Yeah, so then when you open it, we have a little sponge like we have on our concealer.
So that's the same as here, which is so easy to use and so easy to, is it the same way you twist it up and put it on?
But this one is slightly different because it's a tube. Then you just twist the top here and then you push the product up. So I'll just show you. So then you'll see it's going to come through at the top, and you literally then you'll just rub it onto your skin, and you can either blend it in with your fingers or your mini buffer brush, but it makes doing your contour and your highlight and your blush so easy, and it just makes the skin look so fresh. Like I put up a video on Facebook, I think it was last night, and I was so tired. Like I said to you, my sinus are at me at the moment, and I was so tired filming it. But it just makes the skin look like you've had sleep, and that there's no stress going on in life, that everything is great and perfect. So I think it's going to be something people love. And also coming into this time of year, I always think it's nice to lighten things up, because as the days get brighter as well and the weather gets warmer, you just want something that's nice and light on the skin, that isn't too heavy.
I've just realised something. Roz Meakin is not here today, but Roz is often here. She said to me on Friday, your skin is glowing. And I thought it was because I started drinking loads of water and had given up drink for a month or 30 days. But I begin to think it's your, it was a radiance glow. Noel Cunningham. Do you know Noel? Noel from Harvey's Point, Noel from TV3. Always great guests. Congrats on Tui, Rim Junkie, and Suzie. Look at Noel. Actually, Noel was a fabulous guest here as well. My God, he's just amazing, amazing. Caitlin is saying, well done, Suzie. Do you have products for the mature ladies? Caitlin's obviously just coming in.
Yeah.
All of your products, am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah, all of them. And do you know, one of our most viewed videos on Facebook and Instagram is that with my mom. She is 65 and she's the star of the show. Everyone's always asking for her to come back, and she will. I just, obviously with COVID, I haven't been able to see her, and but as soon as I can get a hold of her, I will have her for another video. But absolutely, and like I said to you, it's, for me, it's creating a makeup. Like, I know my makeup isn't for everybody, so I like that real natural look. And I think as we get older, we tend to go towards that. We want the coverage and stuff, but we just don't want to feel really caked in makeup. So like that, I develop everything with 30 plus in mind, because I also know we don't have all the time in the world, as much as we'd love it, to sit doing our makeup. So things have to be nice and easy and quick to use. And the main thing is just to make you feel great, because again, that's going off topic now, but it's one of the reasons I did start into the cosmetics as well, is that I know personally for me, when I went through a patch where I wasn't kind of feeling great, like my confidence wasn't in a great place, and after having the kids and that, I found when I got up in the morning and put my face on and I just met the day like that, it made me feel better, more powerful, and, more productive. And that's again why we center, all of our products are centered towards that feeling. It's feeling like you just, everyone knows that feeling when you feel good, like when you get your hair.
Particularly, you've hit the nail on the head, because I know from talking to a lot of my ladies, and I've had a career coach on here, a lot of women are feeling a bit, their confidence is not where it was at the start of lockdown for all sorts of reasons. And I know, like over a year ago when I started my lives, it meant I got up, got showered, did my hair, and put on my makeup and put on a dress. And that definitely did something for my mood and boosted me. I wear makeup anyway all the time, but I think you're right. And if you make it easy and the products are easy to use and the effect is natural, well, happy days. Joanne Donnan is saying, oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, even when it's only just a bit of concealer, that can make you feel great. Like, I always know if I've no concealer on before I put the makeup on in the morning and I catch myself in the mirror if I'm tired, I'm like, oh, good God, looking at myself. So even a bit of something to make you feel better, it does lift you. And I don't care. Some people might say it's superficial, but I think we've all seen with our hairdressers and beauticians been closed, like, we do need them. It does make us feel good. And with everything going on, like, you do want to feel good. Like, it's not a sin, and it's something that it's needed for all of us,
No, we owe it to ourselves. I've actually put that radiance cream on under my makeup sometimes as well, and it gives me a little lift. Joanne is asking a question. Hi, ladies. What are the best products to use on brows? Thank you.
So brows, well, I mean, it's down to people's preference on brows. We have a lovely little skinny brow pencil. That's my favorite. It's really, really thin nibbed pencil, and it gives a really nice hair stroke effect. And then we have another one that's a pencil with a gel on it. So if you've got naturally good shaped brows anyway, a gel is something that can just fill in any sparse areas and make them look lovely and defined. And then some people love a powder product. So we have one coming later this year, but there are plenty of brow products out there that are powders. So I mean, it's down to personal preference if you just want to fill in the brows. I actually get fee brows done as well, which is a form of microblading, which I think is absolutely brilliant, because I naturally have very thin and uneven brows. So the fee brows for me are great, because even when I've no makeup on, then I still have this frame on my face. Yeah,
Marianne Shovlin is saying Suzie is amazing. You absolutely are, Suzie. We've gone over time, and you're probably have 101 million things to do before the day is over. So I will let you go reluctantly. I am so thrilled that you agreed to be my guest. I know for the girls, most people watch this live on the replay, and over the weekend, that's when people really start watching. So I'll post all of the details to get in touch with you here. And I know you're dying with sinusitis, and I know you're so busy, but I'm so thankful. So I genuinely am so thankful.
It's so lovely to be here, and thank you so much for asking me as well. It's lovely.
Oh, you're so welcome. So, ladies, I'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Somebody else is saying Suzie has a lovely guest with great tips and great products. Back tomorrow with Lorraine Boyce. She is physiotherapist and she specializes in pelvic health. Her business is called Down Below Physio. So it's for people like Suzie, runners maybe who've had babies or have had problems post-pregnancy and their pelvis is not what it was. And for older people who maybe have cystoceles and rectoceles and prolapses, it's going to be just to be a taboo topic, but it's not. It's a very important topic. So that's what we'll be talking tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So get your questions ready for Lorraine. Suzie, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You've been the most fabulous guest.
Thank you. Thanks, Anne.
Thank you. Not at all.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.